Hi, I'm Jeff and I'm the Green Dreamer. Welcome to my channel. I'm up to like 50 subscribers now, so I thought I'd pop in and tell you a little bit about myself and why I made this channel. And hopefully you're concerned about the environment too. So my background is I went to Penn State and I got a degree in environmental resource management. And from there, I took some jobs with the government. I worked for the U.S. Bureau of Land Management out west in Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, and I spent a lot of time actually out in the field doing work. I spent months on end camping out in the wilderness, and anyway, I spent a lot of time out in the wilderness doing environmental studies. And I did studies concerning riparian management, which is the vegetation around streams. I did studies involving hawk nesting and other bird nesting studies. And during this time, my job was to mainly take pictures and gather evidence concerning the problems that are on our public lands. I have a couple videos on this channel about the public lands. One of them is about wildlife fencing, and I think that's a big problem today. It's my opinion that what we should do on the public lands is take down the fencing. It's killing a lot of wildlife. You know, there's fences everywhere, and the wildlife have a hard time jumping over it or going under it. They get caught up and they die. To see all this fencing, is terrible. And what it does is it segments off the wildlife, keeps them in areas so that they overgraze it along with the cattle. There's too many cattle on our public lands. So the problem is overgrazing on public lands. Now, you could say that the lands are overgrazed because there's too many cattle, or you could say that lands are overgrazed because there's too many wildlife. And that seems to be the issue, is that the cattle ranchers will say there's too many wildlife, and, the environmentalists say that there's too many cattle out there. So we know that the land is overgrazed, but how do we mitigate the effects of that? That's the question. Should we reduce the amount of cattle grazing on the lands and possibly remove the fencing so that bison could roam again on the public lands? Or do we just remove the wildlife through hunting and have more cows grazing the public lands? I don't hate ranchers, but you know what I think we should do? I think we should replace the cattle with bison on the public lands and pay the ranchers off. This is what they did in Lake Erie with the perch fishery. The commercial fishery was catching too many fish, so the sportsman organization gathered together and they bought the commercial fishery out. And, now there's a lot more fish in Lake Erie to catch for the sportsmen. And, we don't have to worry about the stocks going and disappearing again like the blue pike did. The blue pike were overfished all the way to extinction. And the yellow perch and walleye now in Lake Erie are doing pretty good because there aren't commercial fishermen. So maybe we should do the same thing with the public lands. Buy out the cattle ranchers. But, it's been their way of life for hundreds of years, and maybe they don't want that. Maybe they wouldn't want, bison roaming around the lands again. And if you think about it, it would be awesome, because the people, you could have a program that harvests the bison, and then, everybody could eat the meat. Just think about it. McDonald's could have a McBison burger. I bet that would be good. For those of you who haven't had bison, it's a leaner meat. It tastes good. I'm sure everybody would get used to eating it, and they'd probably like it more than cattle. I don't know. Maybe not. Cattle is good. Prime rib is definitely good meat, and it sells for a big price, so it's a controversy for sure. So anyway, this is a big problem. Say you're a rancher on the public lands and you have a lease to graze 5,000 cattle on the lands. What would you think if the next year they said you could only graze 2,000 cattle on the lands? The land is overgrazed and you're only allowed 2,000 cattle. You're not going to be too happy of a rancher, are you? And that's the problem we have today on the public lands. The lands have been overgrazed, there's too many cattle, and the people don't want to reduce, the ranchers in general don't want to reduce the amount of cattle that they have. And if you go out there on the public lands and you spend time and look around, you can see the damage incurred by overgrazing. It's everywhere you look. The streams, used to be lush with willows, and now the willows are gone. They've been chewed down to nothing. The Nebraska sedge is it's plowed down to like almost a golf course. In many areas, it does look like a golf course. And in many other areas, you'll see salt licks and no vegetation around them because the cattle have stayed right there and ate everything. So I just wanted to bring this problem to your attention. It's a big problem. There's millions of animal units that are allotted for on the public lands each month. There's like 10 million animal units per month allowed to graze on public lands. And an animal unit month is a cow per month. So it makes a big, huge impact to not only the environment, but to local economies. And it's a huge problem because the wildlife are disappearing, the land is being harmed, and once you lose a stream, you don't get that stream back. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more environmental videos like this one. I'll pop in here once in a while. Please watch the rest of my videos that are AI videos on my channel. They haven't really been getting a lot of views. I don't know why. People should be more concerned with the environment. And, stop by my store if you'd like. I'll leave a link to it right here. Thanks for watching and have a good day.